All right, hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of the Kinky Christian. Today, we're going to be talking about communication, which is kind of why we got all this going on right now. I'm sure you can tell right now, as I'm talking, it's kind of hard to hear. So let's take care of that, shall we? There we go. That's a lot better. So, you saw how all these outside distractions made it very difficult for you to hear me. Well, communication is very similar to that. That's why I'm doing this. It's kind of a good example. When you have all this stuff outside of your life going on, it causes distractions. Oh, you see another one, don't you? Earmuffs. Let's take care of that too. So, you see all these distractions around here. Those make it difficult for us to communicate to each other. And that's the way life is. You know, you get all these distractions going on around you, and it creates a lot of basically white noise around you. So you can't really understand people around you because there's just too much happening. So what we tend to do as people is, instead of eliminating distractions, we grab some earmuffs and we put these on. And that makes it even more difficult to hear. It's a good idea, to try to block out the distractions. But the better idea is to eliminate them. So in relationships, communication is the key to everything. I'm sure everyone knows, and has heard that communication is a key. In kinky relationships, power exchange relationships, and BDSM relationships, communication is way more important, because you're dealing with things that in what we consider the vanilla world you don't deal with. For instance, BDSM, you're spanking, you're flogging, you're using electricity to stimulate, or hot wax, or pinching nipples. All these things cause pain, and there has to be good communication, especially beforehand, so that way when you're in what's called a scene, you already have it figured out what's going to happen. You know pretty much the entirety of what you're going to do. There's always wiggle room for playtime, but the dominant partner has already informed the submitting partner of basically what's going to happen, and gets consent. Consent is the key. Without communication, there's no consent. So you get the consent from your submitting partner. You communicate what they are and are not okay with. You communicate what's called a safe word. A safe word is a word that is kind of out of the ordinary, that you wouldn't normally say. And that way, if things start getting to be too much for the submitting partner, they can scream the safe word, whether it be, avocado, or, thunderstorm, or whatever it is. They can scream that safe word and everything comes to a halt. Now, without communication, you don't have any of that. So safety kind of goes out the window. Communication is also important in just normal relationships. For instance, if I have a relationship with my children, or a friend, or a coworker, and let's say I do something to offend them, hurt their feelings, or anything. If they can't come to me and feel safe enough to communicate with me and say, hey, Pat, you kind of hurt my feelings, then what happens is things kind of swell up, and they start to fester. And next thing you know, that relationship goes south, and there's nothing left of it. And I've seen too many marriages, too many friendships, co-workers, and with kids, your parent-children relationships just get destroyed because of communication. Now, let's say they do come to me and express, hey, you offended me, and I just wanted you to know. If I got these on, if I'm blocking out what they're saying just to protect myself, because that's what these are for. These are to protect my hearing. They're not to stop the noise from happening. They're just to protect my hearing. So if I got these on and they come to me and tell me that, I'm not really hearing what they're saying because I'm just worried about me. So instead of apologizing for what I did, I might get defensive. I might say, well, that's not what I said, or I didn't mean it that way, and you need to grow up and put on your big boy pants, or whatever. There's a million things you can say. So communication in every aspect of life is probably the most important thing to keep a relationship alive and healthy. If a relationship goes sour, communication also is important, because then you can go to the person and let them know, hey, I feel like you're a little toxic. Can I help you to help make this relationship better? I'll do my part, you do yours. If not, then we can just agree to disagree and end the relationship on a civil note. There doesn't have to be animosity. There doesn't have to be all the backstabbing and talking about each other to everyone. And it's ugly. It gets very ugly. So I just wanted to use my shop as a demonstration of how important communication is. How things around us can distract us. We got noise. Some of the noise may be other people talking in our ear. Hey, did you hear about Johnny and what Johnny said about you? And Johnny may not have said anything. But it's just a lot of noise. Everywhere we look, there's a lot of noise. And we can either eliminate the noise, we can put on protection, which just protects us. We go into a little shell to protect ourselves, or we cannot do anything. And it's our choice. Me, I choose to not worry about the hearing protection. I choose to eliminate all the noise around me, so that way I can fully engage with whoever I'm talking to. For instance, you lovely people. If I would have kept this on, it would have been very difficult for us to have this conversation, for you to focus on me, and it'd be kind of difficult for me to focus on you. So keep that in mind going forward. Communication in every relationship, super important, key to everything. You get that right, you can fix everything else. Now, fixing doesn't mean the relationship will stay together. It just means you won't destroy it. And if it does split, you will handle it properly. All right. So, all that being said, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything that you want to say, ideas for future podcasts, let me know. Zip me off an email. Keep it positive. Keep it constructive. Send it right here to this email address, the Kinky Christian Podcast @gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do. So until then, people, stay safe. Have a good day. Peace.